quick pause. Now, I know you're here to clear that mental fog, but let's not forget the whole body that's carrying it around. Think back. Remember the last time you really had to go, but the bathroom was, say, 100 feet away? No problem now, but in a few years, that might feel like the New York Marathon. Good news, we've got podcasts to help. Resilience Rituals will keep you up on your goals. Mindful Mover gets you moving, and 6-Minute Reset keeps those habits in check. After all, staying light on your feet might just keep you light on your bladder too, if you know what I mean. Dr. Lance Labno's got your back, and your knees, and that stiff neck you keep ignoring. Whether you've got 5 minutes or half an hour, he'll show you how to feel better and move like you mean it. Hit subscribe on the Resilience Flow Network on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Because hey, the future you wants to dance, not hobble. Hey there! Welcome back to Mindful Mover, the podcast where we tackle life's little aches and pains with small, practical changes. Because let's be honest, who has time for a full wellness overhaul when we're still struggling to remember our Netflix password? We all know that feeling. Stiff neck, achy back, and that little groan when you stand up. It's like your body is trying to send you an SOS. But here's the good news. You don't need to overhaul your entire life to feel better. Today, we're going for easy wins, quick fixes that work. Today, we're diving into the land of easy wins. These are the quick fixes that make you feel like a hero with zero effort, like finding $1 in your pocket, or managing to fold a fitted sheet without having a breakdown. Now, let's get real. Have you ever noticed how your neck and back feel like they're staging a protest after a full day at the desk? It's like they're shouting, "We demand better working conditions." And what do we usually do? We ignore them and reach for another cup of coffee as if caffeine is going to negotiate with our spine. Spoiler, it never does. By the end of this episode, you'll have a toolkit of easy wins, small changes you can make right now that will have your body thanking you. And don't worry, these aren't those impossible, turn your office into a yoga studio kind of tips. We're talking realistic stuff, like adjusting your monitor so it's not trying to give you an eye exam from 6 inches away. Look, I'm not a wellness guru with a daily meditation ritual that starts at 5 a.m. Let's acknowledge something here. You're listening to this podcast, which means you care about making a change, even if it's small. And hey, small changes add up. It's like adding just a pinch of salt to your pasta. It makes all the difference. But without it, you're just eating sad noodles. So today, let's sprinkle a little wellness seasoning into your life. Before we dive in, make sure you hit subscribe. I know, everyone says that. But seriously, subscribing is like saving a seat at your favorite coffee shop. You don't want to miss out when we drop more golden nuggets of wisdom, or at least a few good jokes. Quick question. When was the last time you stood up and stretched during a work call? Let me guess, never? Yeah, me neither. We've all been there, nodding along on a Zoom call, pretending we're totally comfortable, while our lower back screams, "Can we please take a break?" It's time to give your body what it's been asking for, without you having to transform into a human pretzel. Here's what's coming up. We'll cover easy desk stretches you can do without looking like a weirdo, adjustments that don't require a PhD in ergonomics, and the Pomodoro Technique. Because let's face it, we all need a little reminder to stand up before we become part of the furniture. You're here. You're listening. And that means you're already doing better than 99% of people who decided to snooze their wellness alarms today. And if you're thinking, wait, I didn't set a wellness alarm. Don't worry, you're setting it now just by tuning in. So let's get started and make some changes that'll make your body go, "Hey, thanks for finally noticing." All right, let's get into it. Make sure you've got this episode downloaded, because trust me, when your back starts complaining later, you're going to want to play this one on repeat. And don't forget to hit subscribe, because we've got more of these easy sanity-saving tips coming your way. Let's go find those easy wins, because you deserve it, and so does your neck. Think of this episode as your guide to the quick hacks you can use to make your body go, "Oh, finally someone's listening." Here's what we're tackling today. All right, before we roll up our sleeves for the next tip, let's take a quick break. Think of it as a mini intermission to stretch your legs. And trust me, your back will be grateful. Let's take a quick break to talk about sitting. Yeah, it's comfy, but spend too much time there, and one day, just getting up might require a pep talk. Start building a little strength now with the podcast, 6-minute reset to stay spry, mindful mover to stay flexible, clearing the clouds to stay mentally sharp, and resilience rituals for all-around resilience. Because if getting up from the couch starts feeling like lifting weights, well, it's time to act. And you're not doing this alone. Dr. Lance Labno, a real-life body whisperer, is here to help you outsmart aches and pains. All you need is a few minutes. Heck, start with 2 if you have to. So go ahead. Hit subscribe on the Resilience Flow Network wherever you get your podcasts. Because getting older doesn't mean bending over should sound like bubble wrap. You're back. And hopefully, so is your circulation. Now that you've had a chance to stretch, let's dive into our next easy win. Let's talk about optimizing your workspace. I call it the desk detective story. We're starting with the spot where many of us spend most of our time, the desk. If your workspace could talk, it might say, "Help, I'm being misused." Let's play detective and find the hidden culprits. Picture this. Your desk setup is like a crime scene, and you're the detective. The culprit? Bad posture. The victim? Your poor, unsuspecting spine. But don't worry, today we're solving this mystery with the help of our trusty sidekick, ergonomics. Actionable tip number 1, adjusting your computer monitor. Let's start with your monitor. If your screen is too low, it's like reading a book that's sitting on the floor. Your neck is straining and your spine is filing a complaint with HR. So here's your first case file. Raise your monitor so the top edge is at eye level. This simple fix can save your neck from turning into a cranky old neighbor yelling, "Keep it down," every time you lean forward. I once worked with a guy named Dave, who had his monitor so low, I'm pretty sure he was trying to watch for gophers. Every day, he'd hunch over like he was searching for lost treasure. One day, I brought him a stack of books and raised his screen. It was like a miracle. Suddenly, Dave stood up straighter, his back stopped complaining, and he swore his productivity went up 10%, just because he could finally see his screen without craning his neck. So, let's learn from Dave's tale of low monitors and neck pain. Take a moment now. Look at your monitor. Is it lurking below eye level like a shy cat? Time to raise it up. When was the last time you actually looked at the height of your monitor? Go on, check it now. Is your screen trying to sneak up on you from below the desk? Let's fix that. If you don't have a monitor stand, stack some books. It's an instant fix. And if anyone asks, just tell them it's a new art installation called Ergonomic Innovation. Next, I'd like to talk about something I call the desk stretch routine. It's stretching without looking weird. Imagine your muscles are like rubber bands. If you never stretch them, they get stiff and snap easily. But if you give them a good stretch every now and then, they stay flexible, like a well-loved pair of yoga pants. And who doesn't want to feel like stretchy yoga pants? Actionable tip 2, the shoulder roll. Let's start with an easy stretch. The shoulder roll. Think of your shoulders as the rusty hinges on an old door. They need a little oil to move smoothly. Here's how we do it. Sit up straight. Roll your shoulders forward in a big circle, then backward. It's like giving your muscles a gentle nudge and saying, "Hey, wake up, we're still alive here." My friend Susan used to be the queen of the shoulder hunch. She'd sit at her desk like a turtle retreating into its shell, hunched over her laptop as if it might suddenly run away. I showed her the shoulder roll, and now she does it during every Zoom call. The best part? She told me her boss thinks she's nodding in agreement, so it's become her secret move for looking engaged while actually stretching. Let's do it together. Roll your shoulders forward 3 times, then back 3 times. Feel that little bit of relief? It's like giving your muscles a mini spa day. We've loosened up the shoulders. Now let's give your spine some love with a stretch I call the desk pretzel. Sit up straight, cross one leg over the other, and twist your torso gently towards the top leg. It's like wringing out a wet towel, except the towel is your spine and you're getting rid of all that tension. If anyone walks in and asks what you're doing, just tell them you're practicing for your Cirque du Soleil audition. They'll either be impressed or slowly back away. Win-win. All right, we've optimized your desk and we've stretched those muscles. Now let's talk about movement, because even the best desk setup can't fix a body that's been sitting for hours. Think of your body like a smartphone. When it's on low battery, you don't just ignore it and hope it lasts. You plug it in, give it a quick charge, and keep going. Movement breaks are your body's way of plugging in for a quick recharge. Except instead of a charger, you just need to get up and move. It's the Pomodoro Shuffle. Work for 25 minutes, then dance around like no one's watching, even if they are. Actionable tip 3, the 25-minute rule. Set a timer for 25 minutes, work focused, then take a 5-minute movement break. It could be as simple as standing up, walking to the kitchen, or doing a little wiggle in your chair. It's like a quick battery boost for your body and brain. I have a buddy named Mike who used to sit at his desk for hours, barely moving except to type. He was like a statue, if statues had terrible posture and drank too many Celsius energy drinks. One day I introduced him to the Pomodoro Technique. Now, every 25 minutes, Mike gets up, does a little dance, and comes back energized. He says it's like hitting the reset button on his brain. And honestly, his dance moves aren't half bad. He's got this little shuffle I like to call the office boogie. Let's try it right now. Stand up, shake out your arms and legs, and do a little twist. If anyone asks what you're doing, just tell them you're auditioning for a Dance Your Stress Away commercial. So there you have it, the Pomodoro Shuffle. It's like the cha-cha slide for your workday. Work for 25, then get up and jive. You don't need a dance floor, just a willingness to move, and maybe a slight disregard for what your coworkers think. We've covered some great tips so far, but before we continue, let's take a quick break to hear from our sponsor. And while you listen, do a little stretch. Remember, your body isn't going to stretch itself, unless you're a cat. In which case, carry on. At break. Welcome back. If you didn't get up and stretch during the break, I won't judge, but your back might. Let's get right into our final easy win for today. Here are some practical tips and actionable takeaways. Tip number 1. Adjust your chair height. The grounding technique. Let's start with the simplest, yet most overlooked adjustment, your chair height. Think of your chair like the foundation of a house. If it's off, everything else feels shaky. If your chair is too low, you're essentially slumping into a beanbag chair at a college party. If it's too high, you might feel like a little kid at the grown-ups table, with your feet dangling like you're waiting for dessert. Neither is ideal. How to find the perfect height. Step 1. Sit all the way back in your chair. Your back should be touching the backrest, and your feet should rest flat on the ground. Your knees should be at a 90-degree angle, like you're sitting at a perfectly set dining table, not the kind with mismatched chairs. Step 2. Adjust the chair height up or down until your thighs are parallel to the floor. This might take a little trial and error, but trust me, your knees will thank you later. Step 3. Make sure your feet are flat on the ground. If they're not, it's like trying to play piano with your toes. It's awkward and ineffective. Use a footrest or even a stack of books if you need extra support. Imagine you're a race car driver, and your chair is the driver's seat. You wouldn't want to be sitting so low that you can't see over the dashboard, right? Your body needs the right height and angle to perform efficiently. Otherwise, you're just revving your engine while stuck in neutral. When was the last time you adjusted your chair height? If you're not sure, go ahead and take a minute to tweak it now. Your future back will send you a thank you note. Let's do it together. Stand up, adjust your chair, and sit back down with your feet flat. Feel how much more grounded and balanced you are. It's like putting on a perfectly fitted pair of shoes. Suddenly, everything feels more comfortable. If your chair doesn't have height adjustment, don't worry. Grab a cushion or pillow to give yourself a little boost. It's like giving your chair a makeover without the hefty price tag. And if anyone asks why you're adjusting your chair like it's a piece of fine art, just tell them you're optimizing your ergonomic feng shui. You might get a confused look, but that's half the fun. Next up, we've got the shoulder roll, a stretch so simple. It's basically the bread and butter of desk exercises, but don't let its simplicity fool you. Your shoulders are like coat hangers, carrying the weight of all your stress, anxiety, and, let's be honest, every email you forgot to reply to. Rolling them out is like giving them a little vacation, even if it's just for a few seconds. Step 1. Sit or stand up straight. Pretend your mom is watching. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, roll your shoulders forward in a big, slow circle. Imagine you're drawing a circle with your shoulders, like you're stirring a giant pot of soup. Step 2. Reverse the direction and roll your shoulders backward. This time, pretend you're opening a creaky old door. Feel that stretch in your upper back. That's your muscles saying, finally, some relief. Step 3. Repeat this roll 3 times forward and 3 times backward. Don't rush it. This isn't a race. It's more like a slow dance with your own body. Think of your shoulders like rusted hinges on a door that hasn't been opened in years. The shoulder roll is the WD-40, loosening things up and letting you swing freely again. You wouldn't leave a door squeaking every time it opens, so why leave your shoulders stiff and creaky? When was the last time you rolled your shoulders? Like really rolled them. We tend to hold tension here without even realizing it, like a backpack we forgot to take off. Let's try it together. Roll your shoulders slowly, feeling each movement. If you hear a little crack or pop, congratulations, you've just released a tiny trapped piece of stress. It's like popping bubble wrap, but for your body. Finally, let's talk about the Pomodoro Technique, but we're giving it a twist. Instead of just using it for productivity, we're turning it into a tool for movement. Your body is like a smartphone. It needs a regular recharge or it starts glitching. The Pomodoro Technique is your portable charger. Work for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute movement break. It's simple, effective, and a lot less annoying than a low battery warning. Step 1. Set a timer for 25 minutes. Use your phone, a kitchen timer, or even an hourglass if you're feeling fancy. Step 2. Focus on your task during the 25-minute interval. Think of it as a sprint, not a marathon. You're giving your full attention, knowing a break is just around the corner. Step 3. When the timer goes off, stand up and move. It doesn't have to be complicated. Walk to the kitchen, stretch your arms, or do a little dance. It's like hitting the refresh button on your computer when it's running slow. Imagine your body as a car driving on a long road trip. You wouldn't keep driving without stopping for gas, right? That's what your movement break is. It's a quick pit stop to refuel and check the tires. Skip it, and you're cruising toward burnout with a sputtering engine. How often do you actually get up during the workday? If you're glued to your chair from morning till night, your body is probably feeling like an abandoned car in a parking lot, rusty and stuck. Let's try a quick movement break right now. Stand up, stretch your arms above your head like you're reaching for that elusive jar on the top shelf, and take a deep breath. Wiggle your fingers, shake out your legs. Feel that rush of energy? It's your body thanking you for remembering it exists. Instead of just standing up, try a quick lap around your space. It doesn't have to be a full-on jog, just a brisk walk. It's like taking your body for a test drive to make sure everything is running smoothly. And if anyone sees you taking a walk around the office and asks what you're doing, just tell them you're on a wellness tour. It sounds official and might just inspire them to join you. You've got the tools. Now it's time to use them. Remember, these tips aren't about perfection. They're about progress. Even one small change can set you on the path to feeling better. All right, time to put what you've learned into action. Consider this your mini mission for the week. Stand up and stretch every hour. It's the simplest thing you can do, but the results will surprise you. Track how you feel at the end of the day and share your experience with us using #DeskWellness. We started this episode with a promise of easy wins, and you've made it through a whole toolkit of them. Let's take a quick look back at what you've added to your wellness arsenal today. All right, folks, let's take a moment to recap today's episode and give ourselves a little virtual high five for making it this far. We covered a lot of ground with our easy wins, and I'm proud of you for sticking with me. Remember, these aren't just small changes. They're the wellness equivalent of hitting the easy button on your day. First, we talked about adjusting your chair height. This simple tweak is like putting on a pair of glasses. You didn't realize how blurry everything was until you made the adjustment. By grounding your feet and aligning your knees at 90 degrees, you're giving your body the support it deserves. Think of it as the difference between sitting on a wobbly stool at a dive bar versus relaxing in a comfy recliner at your favorite spot. One leaves you tense, the other lets you relax. So make sure your setup is giving you that recliner-level comfort. Next up, we had the shoulder roll, a stretch so effective, it's practically a magic trick. Remember the analogy of rusty door hinges? Every roll of your shoulders is like adding a drop of oil, making everything move smoothly again. If you haven't done this stretch at least once during this episode, I'm giving you the side eye right now. Go ahead and try it. Roll those shoulders like you're getting ready to strut down a red carpet. Your muscles deserve that kind of love. Finally, we gave the Pomodoro Technique a little wellness makeover. Instead of just using it to stay productive, we used it to remember to move. It's like setting a reminder on your phone, except this one is for your entire body. Think of it as the wellness version of those stand-up reminders on your smartwatch, except without the passive-aggressive tone. We turned that 5-minute break into a mini dance party, a quick stretch, or even a brisk walk. Your body isn't just surviving the day now, it's thriving. So if you did even one Pomodoro shuffle today, give yourself a little pat on the back. Or better yet, do another shoulder roll. If today was all about easy wins, next week is about turning those wins into a routine. Ever wondered how to make movement feel like second nature, not a chore? We're diving into a big topic next week. It's called Creating Your Movement Routine. It's time to put those easy wins into action, with a plan that you can actually stick to, even if your schedule is busier than a one-armed juggler at a circus. Next week, we'll help you build a simple, personalized movement routine that fits into your day like a comfy pair of socks. We'll break down how to make movement a habit, why consistency is the secret sauce, and how to avoid the dreaded all-or-nothing mindset. You know, that little voice that says, if I can't work out for an hour, why bother at all? Spoiler alert, we're kicking that mindset to the curb. Ever wonder why some people seem to stick to their workout routine like it's their favorite TV show, while others can't make it past the first commercial break? We'll uncover the secret behind building a movement routine that you actually look forward to. And trust me, this isn't about transforming into a fitness fanatic. It's about finding what works for you, even if that means doing squats while you brush your teeth. Yep, we're going there. If you've enjoyed today's episode, you'll love what we've got in store next week. So hit that subscribe button like it's your snooze alarm. You won't want to miss the tips we have lined up. See you next time on Mindful Mover. And remember, small changes create big wins. All right, before you go, here's a thought. Ever struggle with a shoelace? Now imagine that times 10 in a few decades. Don't want to be out of breath after tying your shoes? Mindful Mover keeps you limber. Resilience Rituals helps you set healthier goals. 6-minute reset makes it quick. And clearing the clouds keeps you mentally sharp. Let's make sure the future you can handle a shoelace without needing a water break. So go ahead, subscribe to Mindful Mover Podcast and other shows on the Resilience Flow Network on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Because a future where you're fit, flexible, and focused starts right here.